Good morning, students. Welcome back. So, in our earlier sessions of HR analytics, we have discussed about various HR frameworks like HR scorecard, workforce scorecard, your LAMP framework. And today we'll be discussing yet another HR framework, that is HCM 21 model, also called as Human Capital Management for 21st Century. So this was a model which was developed over a period of 18 months by Predictive Initiative, which is a consortium of major corporations, vendors and management association. So these were the people who believed that HR can be transformed into a strategic function. So HCM 21, it's a model that was designed which could be used as operating system as well. So there are different steps in this model. Basically, it's strategic scan, capability planning, process optimization, integrated delivery, predictive measurement, and analytics. So we'll look into these steps one by one. The first one is strategic scan. So we all know, if we talk about human capital management, it basically starts with workforce planning. That is comparing your business plan requirements of your workforce and analyzing your internal and external labor pools. First, you will find out how many workers are required for your organization at each level, and you will check with your internal source and external source and how you can fix the gap which you have found out in your workforce. And this is where the devising of strategy commences in order to fill your workforce gap. So before you start hiring people in case there is a deficit or removing people in case there is a surplus, you have to first understand the aspects of market, like what is the competition right now in market, what are the technological advancement, whether you need people who possess these new technical skills, what are the rules and regulation of the land and law, what is the economic trend, the political trend or human capital trends in the market, because all these things will affect your hiring decisions. So this is why external or internal scan is essential, and also it affects three fundamental things of organization, that is human, relation and structural capital. So that's about strategic scan. The next step is capability planning. So once the scan is completed, so your organization now knows that what is the advanced workforce planning process they have to adopt. So usually when you do strategic scanning, you'll come to know about the competition and who you're going to compete, and then you will come to know your internal processes and if there are any lacuna in those processes and which of these processes can be recalibrated. So this is about the scanning and how it helps your capability planning. And the next step from here is dividing your entire workforce. How many ever number of people are there in your organization, you collect them, you consolidate and try to divide them in 4 different levels. The first one is mission critical or essential to survival. So people who belong in this level, they are very essential to the organization because they possess large amount of knowledge and they have vast experience in your organization and in the field they are working. So these are very critical and they are in leadership position. So they are very critical in running your organization and taking it forward. So they are essential for survival of your organization. You cannot let go of these people. And the next set is unique and market differentiators. So this is a slot wherein there are people who are very creative, who have new ideas to bring to the table all the time. So their ideas, their creative thinking and their valuable inputs to organization is what makes it different from its competitors. That's why they are called as unique or market differentiators. These are also very essential to the organization. Losing them will be a huge risk to the organization. And then there is a next set. Sorry for the interruption. So there is the next set or slot which is important or operational necessities. So this set contains those employees of the organization who are important to the organization. It's not like they cannot be replaced. They can be replaced with alternatives, but they're important to the organization in order to carry out day-to-day operations so that things run smoothly in the organization. And the last slot, which is movable or could be outsourced or eliminated. So this set of employees are those who can be easily replaced by any alternative or can even be completely removed from the organization. Organization will not be affected much with or without their presence in the organization. And whatever work they do, that can be done by others as well. It could be automated or it could be outsourced. So these are the people who are of least importance to organization and that could be replaced or removed. The next step is process optimization. See, it's very natural for things to go on in routine fashion in organization. So whenever things are going smoothly, people do not bother to check whether there is any problem with the process. But not necessarily any process that is running smoothly is efficient or effective to the expected levels. So when I say process, every process has three components, that is inputs, throughputs and output. And when you come to human resource, you can consider the process of hiring, compensation, retention, etc. So let's take example of staffing process. So in staffing, the inputs are what? Job applicants who will apply to your organization either through advertisement or through agencies or employee referrals. And what is the throughput? They undergo the process of selection, orientation, wherein they undergo different interviews and tests and assessment, etc. And what is the output here? The output is the expected level of performance, their potential for growth and the tenure of the employees, isn't it? In spite of the input and throughput, if the output is not expected to the expected levels, like if they're not performing well, if there is no potential for growth, or they quit the organization sooner than expected, then that means your staffing process is not so efficient. It has to be reanalyzed and recalibrated. So this is process optimization. A good process will always help you in better capability planning or workforce planning. The next step is integrated delivery. So here basically there are three levels. So what the idea here is to integrate and align the delivery of each level. Delivery means the outcome of each level. So usually there are first step is to have the objectives of the organization or corporate. So these corporate objectives will be then divided into departmental objectives and any other key goals of any other department. So let's take the example here. Let's say the corporate goals and then departmental goals and any key goals of other departments or functions. So whatever goals of department will be designed by the head of the department, they should be taken from the corporate goals, or they should make sure that whatever goal they are achieving, it is indirectly contributing to the corporate goal. So let's take the corporate goal number 3 here, that is profit maximization. And let's take the department as HR department. So employee retention is the goal of HR department and it is contributing directly to profit maximization. And how? If you're retaining employee, that means there is less employee turnover. If there is less employee turnover, that means there is no recruitment and selection process, which is happening often in the organization. If there is no recruitment and selection, that means you're investing very less in your human capital. And if you're cutting down on cost, indirectly it is profit maximization. And if you take key goals of other function, if you consider marketing department, increased sales. So increased sales means increased profit. So this is how each department's goal are indirectly contributing to the corporate goals. So your goals or the outputs or outcomes of each department are integrated and aligned so as to achieve corporate goals. The next step is predictive measurement. So today what happens, every HR department or every department and organization, they are measuring something or the other in order to get insight into data. But in our HR department, what used to happen, we usually measure the cost we are putting into HR and the quality of our processes. So other than benchmarking the budget and looking after the turnover ratio, there is nothing much measured. But if that happens, it's going to be difficult to make HR as a strategic function. So these informations are also very vital for decision making, but they will not give you better insights or help you predicting the future. So the latest measures are all the leading indicators which people use these days are intangible metrics. If you take the examples given here, like readiness of employees or the capabilities of your employees to perform well, the learning and development ROI, loyalty of your people, your organization culture, the leadership, absenteeism, retention, employee engagement, the reputation of your company. So they all act as the leading indicators, but they're all intangible in nature. So these are the new metrics. We have to design analytical tools so that we can use these as the indicators and get new insight into the data. And the last step is analytics. So like I said, we have many tools, analytical tools, but they are mainly used in finance and marketing. HR is coping up with it now. We are trying to make sense of our data through different analytical tools. So HCM 21 model is one such model which will help you statistically analyze all the connection between different functional departments of HR and their outcomes. So let's take the example of current economy. So it is a depressed economy. So if you want to still retain your customer, you have to give them good customer service. If you want to give good customer service, you have to train your employees to give better service, and you have to reward them with incentives so that you motivate such behavior. So now this is where HR comes into the picture. So whatever is the situation, it can be tackled by manpower of the organization, and if you have better analytical tools, you can come up with better measures to cope up with any situation. So even though they are very small or minute things, if they can be tracked and if you can work on it, HR department can really become a strategic partner to the organization. So this is about HCM 21 and its steps. That's it for today. Thank you.